Let's take you to Parliament now. The Energy Minister, Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has appeared before the Assurances Committee of Parliament to answer some questions regarding the power outages.
Okay, Bobby. Okay, Bobby. Thank you so much. Honorable Minister, in your answer to a question posed by Honorable Abdullah Abanga on February 24, 2022, on page 6, 2022, on when some communities in the Binduri District under Share 4 project will be completed. And you cited that due to shortage of some key materials such as poles, conductors, transformers, meters, etc., as a reason for the delay in the execution of the project in those districts. I would want you to update us on the progress of work so far in those communities in Binduri District.
Thank you, colleague. The delay in the completion, as I said, of the project was a result of inadequate funding to procure high voltage and low voltage poles. Mr. Chair, the poles have recently been procured, released, and installed in all the communities of Binduri. Work has completed at Goti Saliga. A transformer has been released and installed at Tinogo, awaiting the release of dressing materials. High voltage and low voltage works are ongoing in the remaining communities, namely Ninsako and Narasong. Thank you.
Do you have a follow-up question? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Minister, I have just a quick question for you. You had budget on 2021, budget 2022, budget 2023. And now I know the ministry is doing cost sharing. So do you want to tell us that Ghana is broke to the extent that we can afford to buy low and high voltage poles? Thank you.
Thank you. Ghana is not broke that they cannot buy. My last answer to the last question was we procuring high voltage and low voltage poles and completing the installation of same in Binduri. Thank you.
Sina, yes.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable Minister, the deadline or the timeline you gave Parliament was 2022. I'm following up on this particular one, the question that you asked. And we are in 2024 currently, and you are saying that you are left with dressing materials to allow for testing of the project. So I want to find out if you gave assurance to the House, and almost 2 years now, and you are now saying that you are not ready on some of the issues. I want to know when, if you can give us timeline that the project will complete the project fully.
Thank you. I think I have to explain this. If I give a project contract to a contractor, and he's supposed to procure the things and supply and install in the community, and during his procurement, he says prices has risen 3 times, so I cannot buy it and I cannot install. It will, no matter the assurance and the contract you have given, I don't think there's anything bigger than a contract. A contract states what you have to do, the time for which you have to do it, and the payment for which you have to receive for that service that you are going to render. If the contractor feels, and most times I've tried to explain, that if he feels that the material prices has escalated, and that when he goes to buy it, he will lose out the contract. All over the world, what contractors do is to walk away. It doesn't make it a criminal offense for that contractor. but they walk away every time. So some of these rural electrifications that we are saying, like SHEP 4, it didn't start even under His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. It started long before His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo came into power. But the contractors haven't finished because things do change. And things do change is a matter of a reality. But what we have to do is to continue to make sure that every part of Ghana has its fair point of electrification. And again, we are 88.75. We are not doing badly, even in sub-Saharan Africa. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm glad to hear that the minister is saying that we have 88.75%. 88.75, not the radio station, but the percentage that has been connected in the country so far as rural electrification is concerned. Mr. Minister, if I'm in the Sunny West, going through my communities, and I haven't got enough to be done, it will be difficult for me to believe the 88.75% that you are talking about, meaning you are almost done, the whole country. On 24th February 2023, Mr. Minister, Mr. Chairman, I asked a question of some of my communities. The question states that the following communities, that's Gobu, Kulage, Santa, that's question 580. And those communities, Santa, Agege, Kojobo Ikra, Ahare, Besega, Krusa Krusa, Kuku Kwasi, Alegele, Bakpa, Kuku Jato, Asempaneye, and so on. There are so many communities. And then Mr. Minister said that, they are around Tatobato, and Tatobato and other communities have been connected. And these communities are around the surroundings. The high tension is there. Transformers are there, yet to be connected. And then, per your answer, Mr. Minister, you said you are going to consider the next phase. So I would like to know, or the community would like to know, the committee, to inquire whether the next phase has been commenced. If so, are these communities mentioned considered? Thank you, Mr. Minister.
I thought you are one of my longest standing friends in Parliament too. Mr. Chairman, I'll beg to seek refuge under your big smoke. Because the question my honorable colleague is asking is none of the questions that have been brought here as government assurance. But I would like to state for a fact that the honorable member deserves an answer to his question. So after this, let's work together and see what we can do in the community.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Because even some of the communities have buy poles, and I'm able to let some contractor erect some of the poles. So I will see you, and then we see the way forward.
This is really below the belt, but I'll take it from you. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister, I think you are right. His question wasn't part of the questions that were captured in the invitation letter to you. So I think yesterday brought this, and as a member of the committee, we felt that we should permit him to ask. So later, as he said, you have to see him. So, Chuete, you have a substantive question?
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Please, before you continue, please, let's always ask the questions, the question number. If it's on a page, you make it easy so that the minister can have a reference point.
Very well, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, my question is on page 5. Question star 69. I was the very person who asked the question on the 23rd of June, 2021. And I sought to find out from the minister when SHEP 5 projects that were started some years back at Nasol Yiri, Sanyare, Pungri, Soma, then Goyiri and Gando, when the ministry was going to complete those projects. And the minister, in his response, I think That is the answer. The third paragraph or so, he indicated that the Ministry of Energy expects to complete installation works at Nasol-Yiri, Sanyare, and Soma communities by the end of 2021. He further stated that Kwanguri community has been scheduled for completion in 2022. Goyuri and Gando communities do not form part of any of the ministry's projects. The communities have been noted and will be considered for connection to the national electricity grid in subsequent phases of the electrification program. Honourable Minister, we are in 2024 May. Are you able to update us regarding the completion of the projects?
Thank you, honourable colleague. The ministry has supplied most of the materials for the high tension and low voltage works to the contractors, Masters E.K. Kwasak Company Limited and DASB Electrical Limited for installation. The transformers and the remaining accessories will be supplied for completion of the works in the 4 communities of the Sola, Tuna, Kalba constituency when the ministry receives the same. Colleague, what happens is that when the contractors, some contractors are given the job for the installation, the ministry supplies them with some of the materials. And depends upon the availability of those materials. It delays for some time. And I've explained why the delay has occurred for a very long time. And as soon as we get the materials, we release them to the contractors to come and complete the project. Thank you.
Honourable Chair, is that the case that all SHEP 5 projects are suffering the same disease? Because the communities I mentioned, they were certified projects. I think this is about the 9th year that they started those projects, and none of them have been completed. So is it that across the country, all SHEP 5 projects have been stalled? Thank you.
Unfortunately, the answer is not all SHEP 5 projects. Since the time we started SHEP, from SHEP 1 to date, all the SHEPs have suffered projects incompletion. All of them. All of them. Not even one completed on course or on due time when it was started. Because there's a general problem that we find with all SHEPs. They get the money, they go and do that. They get the loan through Parliament, or government grants them the loan through Parliament before they go and do the feasibility studies. So the basic assessments that are done to constitute the loan, when they get to the community, they find out that they skipped 2 or 3 villages and they mentioned the 4th village. Everywhere. All parts of the country. So you find that projects have been done and there are still parts that are not complete. Because when they were stringing the line from one community to the next, the communities in between started fighting with them that why would the electricity line go from my village to the next 2 villages? And my village is not part of it because of assessments that were done that were probably incomplete. So it's every single SHEP project, and I want to be on record, every single SHEP project has suffered delays or additions or into some. There was recently, there was a project in parts of Ashanti that were moved to another part of another region because that region was suffering unduly and the project materials were taken there. So these projects are being done with the intention of completing. But sometimes things happen and some projects are not able to be completed along the time. And there are some that are not part of any funding. Because how were we funding rural electrification? People were coming down with loans from their countries, Exim banks, and things like that. The government was also going out for loans to source for some. So if you go for a loan and you say you should list 150 communities in, say, Yendi, and you start and you realize that you didn't count it well, there are potholes in your counting. Some communities resist even the electrification, bypassing their project and going to the next till it's done. So we have suffered problems, and I'm not saying that it's a general thing to do with rural electrification. So we would complete it as they come up. Thank you.
Maybe, yes, please. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. You see, you misconstrue me when I ask the other question, but I get worried. This is my 8th year in Parliament. But my constituency, not a single community has been connected to the national grid. So I get worried. And yes, and not that I don't come to, I know Mr. Solomon knows me very well. Number of times I have come to your office because of these Sheffield projects, but none of them have not succeeded in getting a single one of them connected. And communicators of party in government are all over the place, making it look like it is the MP that is not connecting the community to the national grid. Honourable Minister, I'm happy today we are on cameras. The people of Nassau, Yiri, Soma, Sanyare, Goyiri, of course, the whole of Sonatula Kraba should be listening and watching. They should know that it is not their MP's inability that is making them not have electricity. It is the inability of the government. That is why they are not connected to the national grid. That is why sometimes when I'm not so partisan, but you see, when it is like this, I have other colleagues who have had about 10 or more communities connected, 8 years in power as a member of parliament. I don't have a single community connected. So it looks like I'm the one not working. But I know I have gone to your ministry, I've written to you, I've asked several questions. So can you assure us once again and give us timelines that these communities, at least one of them should be connected before we have the elections done?
My brother, 8 years before His Excellency Nana Dankwa came to power, it was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and His Excellency John Evans Atta Mills. And before that, we have His Excellency John Ajekun Kufuor, who before that we have His Excellency John Jerry Rawlings. And I'm saying, all SHEP projects, none of them completed on time. And none of them completed with all the constituencies or towns listed being done. And if you heard me what I read, it is being done. It's just not completed. We have some that we have not done even anything. When you were making a remark, maybe you forgot yourself. You said you have none of your communities connected to electricity. You didn't say parts are and parts are not. In your region. What you are trying to say, what you are trying to say, which is also not very factual, is that under Anado, nothing has been done in your constituency. That is what you said, 8 years. So I'm just saying it's not true. But we'll strive to complete it when we get materials.
Thank you very much, Minister. Main question. Savulugu MP.
Mr. Chair, the Honorable Minister has mentioned numerously in his response that 88% of the country is covered. The Minister has also mentioned challenges such as funding, IMF conditionalities, and many others. Are these the reasons why today our country is suffering Dumsor? What the minister called better Dumsor. Are these the reasons why? The reality on the ground is that we are all suffering Dumsor, despite the fact that 88% of the nation is already covered.
Chair, again, I would like to come under this time your cup to give solicit please, because the heat is getting on my head. I'm not sure I'm here to talk about Dumsor as you want to drag me into it. But I told you that when I got to the ministry, we've gone past the era where we had 72 to 96 days of lights out and 6 hours of light on. We are in the era of Dumsor. which is profoundly different from Dumsor. Dumsor, as inflicted on Ghanaians, has only happened as characterized His Excellency John Dramani Mahamad's governance. He is the only president on record that for 4 years that he reigned, for 4 years that he ruled, for 4 years that he governed, doom. If the non-partisan colleague says that now it's worse, then I don't know where his relatives lie. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Minister, I'll let you come. Colleague members, we want to plead with you, please. Let us stick to questions that have been captured in the document so that we would be able to make headway. So please let us stick to the questions.
Honorable Minister, I want to place something on record. President Mahama is the only president who has taken responsibility for Dumsor. It has happened since time immemorial. All the heads of state or presidents in the history of this country have suffered Dumsor. Even President Kufuor's era, they had to import toy generators from outside under Honorable Kofi Adda. But President John Mahama was bold enough, humble enough, and took responsibility and said he was going to solve it. And he did solve it.
Thank you very much,
President
Rankin.
Mahama left office, we have excess capacity.
Thank you, Rankin.
We have
Thank
excess
you.
capacity.
Thank you, Mr. Rankin.
And our generation was about 83%.
Thank you, Mr.
You only came to add about less than even 4 or 5%.
Mr. Rankin,
so
thank
please,
you. Let's make headway.
Get that on record. That President Mahama is the only president in the history of this country
Let's
who has solved
make a headway.
Thank you.
Akimoda MP, please.
Chairman, thank you so much. Let me take this opportunity to commend the minister with the way he has handled the questions so far. I think that in the midst of all the issues that he's raised, if the figure of coverage of 88.7 is anything to go by, then the minister and his team need this commendation. I want to bring the minister to page 9. A question asked by Honorable Kwabena Mensah Woyomi. On the 21st July 2021, he asked the minister steps the ministry is taking to get aquatic weeds removed from the lower Volta Basin, including all the tributaries of the river within the South Tong and Dangbe East districts. Want to ask the minister the assurances that were given. It seems not to have been done. So, Mr. Minister, what is the current status of Mr. Kwabena Mensah Woyomi's question?
Thank you. The Volta River Authority commenced the Lower Volta Dredging Project to address weed proliferation by altering river conditions to inhibit weed growth. The project involves deepening the river channel, enhancing navigation, minimizing flood risks, and reducing sunlight reaching the riverbed to impede aquatic weed growth. It also includes removing nutrient-rich substrate from the riverbed to deprive the weeds of essential nutrients. If you do recall, these weeds were not particularly of a local nature. They were introduced probably inadvertently. And so we need to alter the characteristics of the ecosystem for which the weed proliferates. And that's what the VRA is doing. There's no start date and end date, because once you are altering somewhere, you create the conditions for the weeds to go somewhere. So it's eternal vigilance and continually monitoring the situation so that you can keep the weeds growth to the barest minimum and prevent them from causing accidents and things on the river. Thank you.
Thank you. Any follow-up question? Okay, Savogo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is question 586 from the Hansard. 586 from the Hansard. That's page 20 of the handouts. 20. But from the Hansard is 586. So the question goes to the minister. On the 29th of June, Mr. Minister, the Honorable Daniel Nsala Wakpal, MP for Pandai, asked the Minister for Energy when the following communities in his constituency were going to be connected to the national grid. And he mentioned communities like Yadimakura, Atefufu, Kachepe, Adakpa, Che, Dubong, Ugando, Banajado, Bokodo, and Alhassan Kura. On that same day, Mr. Minister, you explained that Asampaneye, Samanga, Tolo Krum, and Mensa Krum did not form part of any of the ministry's ongoing electrification projects. However, you did say that you have noted the concern and for connection to the national grid in the subsequent phases of the electrification program upon the electricity grid in subsequent phases of the electrification program. Can you update the committee on the status of this program? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable colleague. The ministry is here to obtain funding for commencement of new projects. These communities will be considered when funding becomes available.
So nothing has been done to any of the communities the Honorable Nsala mentioned at the moment?
As soon as funding is available, we'll commence the project.
Thank you. Colleague members, we'll be discharging the minister in the next 20 minutes, so let's wrap up with our questions.
Honorable Chair, it's in the next 30 minutes. We have only 7 questions left to be asked. So we want to plead with you. You make it snappy. We have 30 minutes more to discharge the Honorable Minister because the questions are 7. We have 7 questions remaining. So 30 minutes more for Honorable Minister because
20 is fine.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair. Honorable Minister, I asked a question whether Ghana is broke or not. You said Ghana is not broke, but all your answers says that you don't have funding. So Ghana is broke. Why don't you accept that?
Ghana is not broke.
Pierre, the minister is refusing to accept the fact that Ghana is broke. But we all know. So.
Chairman, my colleague, ranking member, honorable member, the fact that you cannot cater for every need of your family doesn't mean you are broke. The request may come, and you might decide to prioritize the requests. And even when you prioritize, and the sickness drops, you might have to divert your prioritization to what has become emergency. Ghana is not broke. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Okay, substantive the question here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Minister, we want to ask this question on behalf of Honorable Yao Peter Yakwachi Aka, page 21, question number 957. Mr. Chairman, the Honorable Member asked the Minister of Energy when the following electrification projects in the following communities will be completed. Ankwawura, Ajedum, Asasetre, Ashram, Jirikum, Kakra. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, the Minister answered that they were going to repackage all those things and then they make sure that they will operate under the next shelf to help them to complete the project. I want to know from the Minister, so far, what has gone on with this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, ranking member, acting Chair. I just answered a colleague, and I said that not a single rural electrification project started in this country, completed on time, and completed covering all the communities they were supposed to carry, complete. This is one example. The Norman Lamont project started under President Kufuor. And were concluded in 2022. It connected 2,131 communities. Yet still, 120 communities were not connected. It did more communities than even the contract said, but yet still 120 communities within that contract were not connected. So my promise was that as soon as we get funding and the next phase, we'll package that 120 communities and add it. Thank you.
Yes, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rankin. Mr. Rankin. On 24 February 2022, Honorable James Jachi Kwasin asked a question. The question number 315, page 7 on the document I'm holding. The question is, the Ministry of Energy to be connected the following communities in Asenov. I have page 7. The sample. Question number 315. Question number 315. On the date of February 24th, 2022. Have you seen it? Yes. The question is, on behalf of Honorable Jechi Kwasin, on the step being taken by the Minister of Energy to connect the following communities in the Asenov Constituency to the national grid. 1. Canaan, Tetrenkwanta, Aninkraja, Chekrum, Subinso, Bientre, Binatre, Aite, Gold Coast, Camp, Krofufrodo, Adau, Srokwaku, Adu, Agbaja, and then, Mr. Minister, Honorable Minister, you stated that the communities I have mentioned do not form part of any of the ministry's ongoing projects, but they had been noted and would considered for connection to the national grid in a subsequent phase. So the committee would like to know from the minister what progress has made so far. Thank you, Mr. Minister.
Thank you. Thank you. We have not secured funding for any of the projects yet, so it has not been done. Thank you.
Follow up. Follow up.
No, it's okay. Let's get another person.
He answered me, and I have follow-up question, Chairman. Yes, Chairman. Minister keeps saying there's no funding. So I would like to know from the minister. They have not secured funding. So almost any time, any question, no secured funding. So when are we going to secure the funds? And Ghana is not broke per what you are saying. So how are you going to make progress? Thank you.
On a lighter note, Ghana is not broke, but even when IDA, we get funding from IDA, your side helps us to pass it very easily. I believe so. So I know that when we get the funding, your side will continue to help us pass it through Parliament so easily. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My sister MP. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, on the 16th of June 2021, myself, the Member of Parliament for Sisala West, asked the Minister for Energy when the following communities in the Sisala West will be connected to the national grid: Pana, Sangbaka, Kuni, and Gbele. Mr. Chairman, the Minister on the said day assured the House that by the end of 2021, those communities will be connected to the national grid. As I am speaking, as their Member of Parliament, the situation is still the same. We are in May 2024, 3 years down the line. Nothing is still done. Though the Minister on that day assured the House that by the end of 2021, those communities will be connected to the national grid. I would like to find out from the Minister, what is the current state of that particular contract? Thank you.
Honourable Member, before the Minister comes in, you just let us know the page number and the question number for our records.
In fact, page number 1, question number, what's the number? Question number 8. Page 1.
Minister.
4 communities were asked by your good self to be connected. 2 have been. 2 are outstanding. The community, Sangbaka and Gbele communities, are completed and are waiting commissioning. The 2 others we haven't. And I think we would invite you to the commissioning.
Mr. Minister, Honorable Minister, sorry. Mr. Chairman, I don't know if the people of Gbele are really watching us. I think not up to 3 weeks, I was in Gbele community, and this issue of their light has come up. There's no transformer at site, not even meters. And so when Minister says that those communities have been connected awaiting commission, I don't know if he's indeed referring to Gbele and Sisala West or a different constituency. I am speaking as their Member of Parliament, and I'm speaking with facts. There is nothing like that happening in Gbele, neither Sangbaka. In fact, I've been to your ministries, and I don't know the director of materials or power is around. I've been to their office at Solo. Yes. And I've been to, I met the engineers and we went through the files, and I was assured that they were going to take delivery of materials to the site. Some materials, according to them, were sent to the site. All right. Sangbaka, for instance, there were materials there. But I can tell you that if you can do site visitation, even if it is not yourself, the regional minister can do that on your behalf and probably report back to you. The report that you are getting from those communities, it is different from what is currently happening there. It is not done. And I'm speaking with facts. I am the Member of Parliament. I'm not speaking with hearsay. I am saying that I was in those communities 2 weeks ago before returning to Accra. Thank you. So, Mr. Minister, if probably there can be reassurance, if you are telling me that it's left with commissioning, can you please tell me the day so that the people in Gbele and Sangbaka are also watching us? They would also hear that the minister is saying that their communities have been connected, awaiting commissioning on so day, so that on that particular day, we'll all be there to assist you to do the commissioning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The best person to tell me what is going, in all honesty, is the Member of Parliament. And you have said so. The indicating to me is that The materials were supplied. The installation works has been done. We will have to commission the installation work. Installation work can be commissioned and there will be no meters. That doesn't mean there are no electricity in the community. There's a lag between meters. So if you say nothing at all has been done, that is your first statement. The second statement was that when you went to Sambaka, you saw that some of the things are there. But I'm informed that it's left with commissioning. Since you came there from 2 weeks ago, we will schedule another visit with yourself so that we can come on the same wavelength.
Thank you very much, Minister. No, it's okay. Remarks from the, a word from the ranking, please.
Honorable members.
No, relax.
I'm coming. Just hold on.
Mr. Chairman, hold on. I said 2 of the committees were awaiting commissioning.
Yes.
The transformers required for PANA and Kuni communities will be supplied to the contractor for installation when the ministry takes delivery. So the other 2 are also noted.
I said I will go with you today. Ranking, your comments.
Honorable Minister, Chairman, before I put my issues and wind up, it seems the Minister is providing same answers to almost all the questions, and the value has been the same. The honest truth is that there's no money, no funding. But I will permit Honorable Chiwete to ask one critical question. It is very, very important. So that last question before I wind up, because we, in about 5-10 minutes, we'll discharge the Minister. So Honorable Chiwete, come out with that question.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, page 7 of the document, a question filed, asked by Honorable Joseph Nikwe on 21st July 2021. Honorable Minister, you answered that the ministry has completed works in the Nakpambul and Wandomdo communities of the Saboba district. However, these communities are yet to be commissioned due to certification of the customer household wiring by the Energy Commission's certified electrical wiring professionals. My concern is on this paragraph. What is the process and how long does it take? Such that they should finish with the work in the community and just the certification should hold the community on the access of electricity.
The contractor will finish his work. He will want to be paid. The only way you know that the contractor has done a correct job is to get the regulatory agency to go and certify that, yes, the work has been done to the specification and the standards at which it has to be done, and yes, the people can use it. Should it happen that somebody goes to light up and something happens, that will not be your question. Your question to me will be, why didn't the people go and do what was supposed to do? So please allow the regulator to go and do his work, and we'll commission. Maybe it's taking so long because there are problems. I'm not aware of, but I'll do a follow-up for you. Thank you.
All right, so thank you, honorable members and colleagues. You know, like I said, the value has been the same, because no funding. I believe, honorable, listen, relax. Why? You have not been permitted. You, honorable, you please, you are overruled. You are not on the floor. You are overruled. Please. You are overruled. Please. You don't have the floor. Please. Honorable member, you don't have the floor. We are all here. The minister has stated several times that no funding. The answer, almost 75% of his answers or response has been the same. No answers, no funding. So what is wrong with that? We don't have a problem. Because Ghanaians, we are working for Ghanaians. So please, let me conclude. Let me finish my issue. Honorable member, please. Please. Honorable Minister. I have one important question for you, even though that is not captured on our document. It has to do with the China Water Company, the China Water Project. You know, during our time before NDC left office, that company, Chinese company, was busy extending electricity everywhere and in this country. And in my constituency, they've extended electricity to 19 communities. On the first phase 1, 19 communities. And 12 other communities were awarded on phase 2. And since 2017 till date, not even a single community has been connected. And as we speak, I've had to share cost with the ministry. I've spent over 400,000 on buying HT and LV poles alone for those communities. And even as we sit, I have 50 more LV poles to buy. What is happening? What is the status of that project?
Thank you. I am happy that you said that the project was being done by China Water. It was a contracted project, right? And if they find out, after going to site, if they find out there were more towns and communities that should have been included, that weren't part of the whole project scheme that was thought of, that are some of the problems that would arise. And I said it generally because I didn't want to do particular attribution. And I said, since we started our rural electrification project in the late 80s to now, the biggest problem is that after the contractor has gone out, when he goes to do the feasibility study, when he has been contracted to do 2,000 towns, you find out that there are many more communities that were escaped in that done when the contract was awarded. Because if the contract was awarded and you're supposed to do 100 towns in your community, why would they stop? So it just means that when the contract was awarded and the number of towns they are finding out that existed, there was a discrepancy. And I'm saying that it has been a hallmark of all our electrification projects. I just read to you another electrification project, Norman Weldy Lamont. That started, I think the first time it started was 2001 or 2002 when they started doing the study. It was completed in 2022, about 21 years. It did more communities than what had been written. But yesterday when they finished, there were 120 communities it had not reached that were supposed to be reached. And then before the money got run out. So what happens is that they come for extra funding to complete those projects. It's the extra funding that has been a problem, especially since we went into the COVID and IMF, to get extra funding. Even when you get it, passing it through Parliament is also another problem. I won't blame us, but I'll blame Parliament, that even getting loans through Parliament. You hear press conferences that say, the country that is broke, you have taken 3.5 billion. And I saw my very good friend in front of one of the cameras say that we are collecting too many loans. Is this same loan? You remember the press conference I was telling you. I said, don't do that. Because when you do that and you come and ask me for money for your electrification, how do I get money when you don't pass my loan? So I think when we come back, there are loans that we need to pass. Let us quickly help government in passing those loans so that we can get more electrification. So that your 12 communities and his 10 communities, when your brother spoke, he said he sees that in some communities we are doing electrification. It is not because we are not doing anything. When you go around the country, you see, you go to get a village, there are things, poles, wires, packed there, right? Nothing is being done for some number of years. Why is it so? It is so because maybe the transformer hasn't come. So we decided in the ministry that I will not supply anything to a community when we don't have the full complement of things to complete. And we asked that the district assemblies, your own district assemblies, should support you in that agenda. I can cite example, Mampol District Assembly, Mampol Municipal Assembly. They has been supporting the ministry in extending electricity to a lot of places. It is the prioritization that you spoke about, that the MCE sees that the electricity going there is more important than anything. So assembly funds, he's complementing that of the ministry with the little that we have, and the electricity is going on. In Damongo, They are doing it in everywhere. So my colleague from Solar, sit down with your assembly. Let's see the equipment we have. Let them share the cost. And let's send the communities the electricity. After all, the electricity is not coming to your house. It's going to other citizens of the country. And whether there's a district assembly common fund or the MP share of the common fund or the ministry that is supplying, we are sending electricity to who needs it most. That are the citizens. Let's work together. But when we bring a loan and you refuse, and you go and do a press conference, how can we do the electrification? That is why I'm soliciting your support. That government has certain loans that are coming up. Promise the House, promise Ghanaians that you are going to support those loans so that you don't want the electricity again.
Please,
because
please,
it wasn't yours.
Please.
So, Oti bless, when the loans come for China Water Company, support it vigorously. Let's pass it so that your constituency and your communities and Ghanaians will get to a stage when every part of Ghana is electrified. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. But what I do know in the case of China Water is that government has failed to fulfill their part of the funding, because it is supposed to be donor funding. It's donor funded, and there's a percentage that is supposed to be taken care of by government. But our government has failed to fulfill their parts of that obligation. That is why
John Oti bless. Oti bless, John.
I've given you a title. Add my title, Honorable.
Is it Doctor?
Add my title,
Dr. Oti bless. Honorable ranking member or government assurances. Don't be so quick in castigating your government, because on this particular note, the fault is from China Water. They couldn't get the Sinosure support. It is not government of Ghana. Yes, we have our own problems, but when the problem is not us, don't quickly go and bring problems to us. I don't know why you wish government so poorly or badly. The problem of China Water is that Sinosure could not support them. And if Sinosure could not support, the China government would not release the money. Now, who caused them? It is our inability to work so hard. So let them work so hard and bring the Sinosure.
Thank you very much, Minister. Minister, I think it's my turn to, mine is more or less a suggestion and a recommendation. As much as today you've exposed a lot of success stories and certain challenges that you also face vis-a-vis, I want to be frank today that since your assumption as Minister of Energy, as a Member of Parliament for Yendi, I should be proud to say that I have benefited from almost 32 communities of electrification projects from Yendi. You alone. Please. Before the minister came, the former minister had awarded 10 communities. Another 10 is ongoing. So we should not create an impression that as much as funding issues differs. No, please. If you look at the northern region, for instance, there's a lot of success story to the minister. The people of northern Ghana normally have issues with meter theft. And one of the innovations that the minister brought was to make sure that NEDCO implements meters that would make sure that there's no theft in this usage of NEDCO meters. So, Mr. Minister, as much as there are other communities that are yet to be covered, but I believe that 88.75 rate for the whole country as Ghanaians, we should be proud of this achievement, even though there's a room for improvement. Mr. Minister, as much as you are a minister, there are challenges and there are work in progress. And we believe that with the help of Parliament and with the help of today's meeting, we've seen that there are a lot of challenges and approvals that are supposed to be done by the Parliament of Ghana. And we believe that by today's meeting, you really espoused for us to know the good side, the challenging side, and what we have to do going forward as a country. But believing that you have done a lot of rural electrification for the people of this country, Areas that have not been able to be covered is patience, and I believe due processes will go through. Contractors have contractual challenges and certain funding issues. So we believe that it will go well as a good way of improving the rates. And before we also conclude, I'll let the ranking make his remarks before we conclude. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, I think I'm done with my remarks. I just want to let me thank our media partners, our honorable colleagues, and to draw the ministers. I'm happy, I'm very happy. My chairman has mentioned that the Yendi constituency alone had 32 communities covered. And this has really exposed the bias we were talking about. Yes. Now. Okay, fine. Then the credit should go to the ex-administration, because we did a majority of those works in your constituency. I thought you were crediting your minister for giving you 32 communities. I thought you were crediting the minister for giving you 32 communities. If you say that it was done during the Mahama era, then well said.
Chairman. So all of a sudden, in a matter of 2 seconds, when he said it started from your turn, then this is a good thing. Right? Because you thought, you see, our mind plays games with us. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, let me thank you for attending. Honorable colleagues, we are almost done. Yes, so let me thank Honorable Minister and his team, our media houses, all friends, and our committee clerks for a good job. I think the next thing, and our next step will be to embark on a verification visits. Perhaps almost 80% of the questions that the answers given by